Okay guys, so today on the baking block we have the Funfetti sourdough bread mix. I'm actually very excited to make this. I got it online when Pillsbury did a special drop. It was last month. I was lucky enough to score a box. And I've got to say, I've never made a bread from a mix. I have used Pillsbury's like pre-made gingerbread and like pumpkin bread dough, but that's already pre-made. You just put it in a pan and bake it. And to be honest, it wasn't that great. So I don't know. We'll see how this is. I'm kind of intrigued because all you need is a cup of warm water, a teaspoon of flour, and then it comes with the mix, which I guess, I don't know, is this bread mix? I don't know. We'll find out. And then it came with a pack of yeast. So everything you need to make the bread is included except for the water and flour. So as you can see here, the directions are very basic, which I guess is a good thing because everyone knows that actually making a real sourdough loaf from scratch takes a lot of work. So I don't know exactly what I'm expecting. I did hear from people who've made this that it does taste like sourdough with a hint of like cake batter, like birthday cake flavor on the back end. So that's why it's Funfetti sourdough. It's not just because it has the sprinkles in the mix, but because it also has the flavor. So I will keep posting or sharing or recording videos of my progress in this. I'm not going to be super detailed with it because this is my first time making something like this and I want to make sure I'm doing it right. So I'll try and record some steps if I can with this, or at least get a shot of how it looks both before and after the bake. So stay tuned for that and we'll see. Funfetti sourdough bread mix. Let's give it a go. Okay, so the first step was to empty the dry mix and the yeast into a clean bowl and mix until combined. I've pretty much done that now, but what I'll say is when I opened the dry mix, you know how when you open a cake mix, it has a very strong, like sweet scent? This mix did not have that. It was very much a muted scent. Now if I smell it, once I've added the yeast, it has a very like yeasty smell. I mean, it definitely has the appearance anyway and the scent of being like a bread mixture. So we'll see how this goes. But this is the first step. Okay, so I have made the dough. I have kneaded it for 5 minutes. Now I will say that that was a bit tricky because the recipe said to add 1 cup of warm water and combine it to make a dough, but I found that my dough wasn't coming quite together with just the 1 cup, so I did have to add an extra couple tablespoons of water just to make it form a dough. So I kneaded this with my hands for 5 minutes, as it said. Now I'm going to leave this to sit for an hour covered with a towel here. I was supposed to sprinkle it with some flour on top, so I'm gonna let it sit and rise on the counter here. It just says to allow it to rise in a warm area, so that's what I'm gonna let it do for about an hour, and it should hopefully increase in size. We'll see, but we'll come back and check on it in an hour or so, but I'm pretty pleased with how it's come together so far. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half. I let this sit for a little longer than an hour. I mean, the box did say let rise for at least an hour or until it's about, you know, 1.5 increase in size from the original. I don't know. I mean, I think this is as risen as it's gonna get. I'm not hating it. It looks like a cute little round loaf. So the only thing left I have to do is score the top. My oven should be just about preheated in a few minutes. So I'm gonna score this loaf and then you bake it for about 20 minutes. And the interesting thing is I have to cover this with some tin foil. I guess that's to maybe help, I'm assuming that's just so it doesn't get super brown on the top. I don't know. But I'm supposed to do that for 20 minutes and then uncover it from the foil and bake for another 15 to 20 minutes. So this is going to be a process. But I'm excited to see what happens. I will definitely update with the finished product. But here's how it's looking so far. I think it's a cute little loaf. It came together pretty well. So again, I'm going to score it, cover it with the foil, and put it in the oven in just a couple minutes. Okay, so here is the final result. I'm not mad at it. As you can see, my scoring pretty much decided to take a vacation. I don't know what happened there. But overall, I mean, this is a cute little loaf. It's definitely got a crispy, you know, it said to bake until it was a brown color and got a hard crust. And as you can tell, it's pretty firm. So I've let this cool now for about 30 minutes, as it says. So I'm gonna cut into this now and see how it looks. I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how this is gonna look inside. It could be a hit or it could be a miss. So we'll find out. All right, so I have cut the bread and I have to say it doesn't look too bad inside. I'm surprised. I was expecting it to look underbaked or gooey or whatever, but it looks, you know, it looks like it'll be a dense loaf. I mean, with sourdough, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know, it takes time to perfect. But for a store-bought online order mix, I'm not too mad at it. So I cut a slice and now we're gonna taste it. I did put a little bit of butter. So here's what it looks like. You can definitely see it smells like Funfetti. So I don't know how this is gonna taste. It's definitely a unique creation. Yeah, it smells it's crazy. It smells like sourdough a little, but it's predominantly Funfetti. So cheers, let's give it a taste. Wow. Oh, shoot. This is really good. Is it the best sourdough I've ever had? No, of course not. But it's weird because you taste the Funfetti. There's definitely a Funfetti presence, but it's not sweet. It's really hard to describe. I did put butter on it, so I don't think that should matter. Very good crust. Oh my God. This is not bad. I mean, I've had some really good flavored sourdoughs. My favorite is apple cinnamon. I've had jalapeno cheddar, cinnamon, just regular cinnamon, chocolate. But this is actually a very interesting combination. Props to Pillsbury. I mean, this is definitely not the worst thing I've ever baked from them. I will say that I think it was the gingerbread. Maybe it was the pumpkin or the whichever. Might have been the gingerbread bread, like pre-made dough that I put in. That was terrible, okay? How could you screw that up? But I don't know, Pillsbury did. If I had to rate this, considering the amount of effort it took, which wasn't a lot, and for it being like a, you know, pre-made sourdough mix, I'd probably give this like a 7. Because it is edible. It's definitely baked. It's not gluey in my mouth. You know, sometimes when you bake bread and it doesn't come out, it underbakes, it's gluey when you chew it. Like the dough is still kind of not all the way there. This is, you guys probably can't see. Kind of. But yeah, 7 out of 10. It only took like, you know, prep time was like 30 minutes. Took like an hour to bake total. And you just gotta let it rest for 30 minutes. So I don't know if this is ever gonna be available in stores. They might consider doing another drop on Pillsbury.com or Funfetti.com, whatever the website is. But yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. So, hey, you know, for a Sunday night bake, something fun I felt like doing, this was worth the time. So 7 out of 10 for me. Tune in again. I'm probably going to bake another loaf from scratch, maybe next weekend or the following weekend. I'm hoping to bake a cranberry no need nut bread. And that's completely from scratch. So we'll see how that compares to this. I mean, I'm sure it'll be way better because I'm going to use the Dutch oven method for that. This I just baked on a baking sheet. So yeah, tune in, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share this video out. I mean, yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Have a good one, you guys.